Hey, this is Chris from The Verge, and this is the new Moto X. Yes, that's right, just Moto X, not X+1 or 2X or anything like that. It looks a lot like the original Moto X, but it's bigger and better and faster in pretty much every way imaginable. They moved up from a 4.7 to a 5.2 inch display, and it goes from 720p to 1080p on the new X. On the back, they have a 13 megapixel sensor, and you'll notice that they've done this cool thing with the flash where there's a ring surrounding the lens, and there's two LEDs inside of there. So when the flash pops, it sort of diffuses through that ring and surrounds the sensor. Below you have sort of that trademark Motorola dimple that is from the original Moto X, and they've carried that through their entire line. And you'll notice that there's this curve here that's very familiar to existing Moto X owners. And on this phone, it goes to a much narrower edge than on the original. And this is very important, the new model is metal around here instead of plastic. So that gives it a much more premium feel. Now they've kept going with the configurability of this device through Moto Maker. The review unit that we have here is bamboo, but you'll be able to get a variety of woods plus a variety of colors. One new option for the second generation X is a number of leathers. There are 4 colors to choose from, and that is of course an upcharge, but it's kind of an interesting feel because it has some pliability to it that you don't get with something like plastic or wood. Compared to the original X, you'll notice that the new X is considerably bigger, but because it's so much narrower on the side, or at least it feels that way, it still feels fantastic in the hand. I think that the most amazing magic trick of the original X was its ability to feel very small, even though the screen actually wasn't that small. And the new X manages to do basically the same thing, even though the screen is a full ½ inch larger. Now you'll notice, you can't see it on the black version of the new X, but on this white one there are these dots along the bottom, and there's also one at the top. And these are infrared sensors. So if I put this phone here and I want to see the active display, which is one of the trademark features of the original Moto X that they've kept for this device, I can just wave over it and that will turn on the display. So I can get my notifications at a glance. I can see if there are any text messages or emails that have come in. And if there were notifications, I could tap and peek at them without actually turning on the phone. And because this is a Super AMOLED display, it doesn't actually power on the entire display to do that, saves battery life. Now you'll notice this looks a lot like stock Android, and that's because it basically is. Just like the original X, they've kind of sprinkled in a few Motorola custom features, but overall it looks and feels like just standard Android without any decorations or frills on it. It's running KitKat, and it'll get an upgrade to Android L when it becomes available later this year. Overall, it's a much more premium feeling device than the original X, which I think was probably Motorola's biggest challenge, was that even though the X was their flagship, it kind of had a plasticky feel. They've solved that here with this metal rim, and of course the leather choices are going to add a premium touch as well for those who decide to upgrade to it. So that's a quick look at the second generation Moto X.